I'm not the only one. Take responsibility for your actions and speak the truth. God, those are about the most complicated two fucking things in the world. She's not going to show up and she's not going to answer. She hasn't messaged me and fuck. See, that's the thing is I do what people want. We make a deal, they're going to help me how I need. And then they keep changing it. Now, I let her know what my worries were about this. She promised me that she was going to advocate. She promised me that what's happening right now was not going to happen. She promised that she'd listen. But then she just can't stop interrupting me. And yeah, sometimes I go off for a while after being interrupted repeatedly. Yes, I do. The more you talk over me, the more communication issues I have. When I'm calmed down and I'm relaxed, I can explain things very well. You notice I use the word very instead of some power word like extremely? Doesn't matter. What matters is the point that I'm trying to make. The point I'm trying to make is that every single time that you tell me that you're going to do something and then you don't, but you promise me that if I do this, you'll help me, and then I do what you told me to do, and then you don't keep your end of the bargain. I'm not allowed to be frustrated that you didn't keep your end of the bargain because you'll hurt me for it. I had a storage place, and I had all my stuff in the storage, and she convinced me to take everything out of storage so I could save some money and put it in her her what's-it, shed. So now I got all my belongings in her shed. I don't have any money. I have no money. I don't have any money. None. All of my money's been spent. I've spent my money jumping through the hoops that she wanted me to. Yes, I spent $17 to get a woman and her son some food. I bought tools to make sure that I could work on my car and make the things that weren't working work a little bit better. I mean, right now I'm able to plug stuff into my outlet again. I got blinkers for the back of my vehicle. I got all this stuff. And I gotta trust someone who has her own mental issues, and I do expect fully to get a fucking earful about that. But then I'm expected to understand everybody else's disabilities. They talk right over mine. So much for Vicky Rain, so much for my evidence. See, this is literally, she went out of her way to do exactly what would push me to commit suicide, knowing that's what she was doing. Knowing full well. I mean, you can see in our messages, when I ask her not to do something, she does it fucking heavier. Fucking harder. Like, Jesus Christ, I'm fucking scared shitless you're gonna talk over me again. I'm too afraid to even speak. I screwed myself over by believing you and trying to get things changed over to here. I would not have done that if you had not said, I promise. And I wouldn't be posting up about you on the internet if you had kept that promise. I'm already having communication issues when you pause and want me to redirect in 30 different directions, while you are only throwing me in 30 different directions because you're confused. You're only confused because you keep talking over me. You are confused because you want to keep on interrupting me, no matter what the interruption is. That is the number one problem. That is the number one problem with being a disabled male. I am expected to understand, yet people do not understand me. They do not try. When I say, hey, if you keep on interrupting and talking over me, the more you do that, the more overwhelmed I get. The more overwhelmed I get, the more communication problems I'm going to have. The faster I'm going to talk. And then when you ask me a question, there's the original thing that I needed to talk to you about that you interrupted. Plus, I got to think about what it is that you're asking. I mean, literally, what you're doing is going out of your way to take advantage of my disabilities after being told what they were and promising that you wouldn't. Like, imagine if I did this. I'd say, hey, I'm not going to punch you in the face. No, that's not fucking okay. I won't stab you in the back. Hey, Greta, get my kitchen knife. You know? I don't want to deal with this crazy shit. I don't want to have to go to other people with severe mental problems. Like, her mental problems are pretty fucking severe. I'm not going to pretend that they're not. I'm not going to try to fucking downplay them. My mental problems are pretty severe too. Lots of abuse, PTSD. We did what you wanted. You kept on promising, oh, it'll be great, it'll be great. No, it's not fucking great. I'm fucked. I am completely fucked. Thank you for fucking me over. Thank you, Vicky Rain. So, yeah, empty promises fucked me over. Empty promises. Empty promises. You're gonna. And then you've got this whole regimen that you want me to jump through. We're not going to do it the way that I'm supposed to. You're not going to look at any of the fucking paperwork that says this is how we're supposed to do it. She's even got a photocopy of that paperwork. This is how we're supposed to do it. She can handle it. She can handle it. She can handle it. No, she couldn't handle it. I couldn't handle her. I couldn't handle being repeatedly talked over. I couldn't handle it. I couldn't handle getting started on a project and being redirected to another one. I couldn't handle working that hard. That is a lot of work for somebody who is disabled. And at the end of it, I can't even take a break because she's got things that she wants done. So then, of course, I end up trying to jump through more hoops and answering more questions that she wants done. She wants to pressure me to do things, and I do them. She's pressuring me to do them right fucking now, right fucking now, right fucking now. We're doing it right now. We're doing it right when she wants it. But only if it's what she wants to do. If it's the instructions, she's not going to follow those. Nobody's going to listen to those instructions. They're not going to follow them. How the hell are you going to help me turn any of this in if you won't look at evidence, but you want me to send you evidence? You want me to send you evidence, and then I send it to you, and then you tell me to send it somewhere else. So I spend all of that time sending you evidence and then sending it to somewhere else. You tell me I've got to type in a description, so I take the time to do that and then send it. You tell me, be patient, be patient, be patient. She is not understanding the safety issues that I am enduring. I explained to her how difficult it would make me and my life, how difficult it would make it for me to live. How difficult it would make it for me to do a lot of these other things. How if I did these things, there's a lot of other things that I have to do. You know, I gotta, of course, in order to get plates for my vehicle here, instead of doing it in Nebraska, she wanted to pressure me to do it here, do it here, do it here. I tried explaining to her why that's a bad idea. Like, hey, we need to make informed decisions, not whatever Vicky wants right when fucking Vicky wants it, or she's gonna fucking talk over you like you're a retard. I was afraid to even go over there yesterday. I got over there to get started. I'm like, there is no reason for me to even try. I got all that stuff dug out. I am in so much pain from that. I got everything dug out. I took it into the house. I went back and forth to fucking get all the shit that I needed to be able to set up the fucking computer that I could set up the goddamn printer to so I could do that scanning. I make sure I record it. She had a private phone call. She doesn't want that recorded. So I went out and sat in my car until she was fucking ready. Finally, when I went back in, she wasn't ready. I just started packing up my shit. I'd been there for fucking 4 goddamn hours by that point. 4 goddamn hours. It is not easy for me to move this shit. It doesn't register in her fucking head. If she offers to help me move stuff, that's great, and she did, but I already had it covered by the time she offered. So, yeah, I'm fucked again over having to trust another fucking crazy person. Having to trust a fucking crazy person. I get frustrated with having to do everything everybody else tells me. Because if I don't do what they want, they're not going to help me. But then when I do what they want, they don't fucking help me. When I try to send them educational stuff, they're like, oh, well, you know, people just need more of an education on it. I'm like, yeah, I got educational stuff. Okay, well, send it to me. I send it to you. Do you fucking watch it? Do you listen to it? I already know that stuff. Well, you're not following it. Are you sure you know that stuff? And now I'm having problems finding the keys to my goddamn car. Oh, well. Like, that's the thing about a woman not keeping her word. You're not allowed to say she didn't keep her word because she'll throw a fucking tantrum and hurt you. She didn't get what she wanted, you're a fucking bad guy. Yeah, she offered to help. She offered to help how I needed. The problem is when you drag your feet and talk over the fucking victim and make it all about you, you don't do anything useful to help. When they try to tell you that if they do all of this stuff you're asking them, they don't have the money and it'll fuck them in the long run. But no, you promise that you'll be there for them. No, the fuck you're not. That's the problem with having to depend on people with mental problems. People with PTSD. You know, I can't even tell them a story about fucking abuse that I'm trying to fucking turn in. How are you going to help me turn it in if you don't know what the fuck is going on? If you keep interrupting me. Now, if I'm talking about one situation and you want to change my focus to another one, all right, we change our focus to that other one. But I need to work on something in specific. We're not working on that. You're not looking at evidence like you said you would. Now magically you can't. Now magically you have something wrong that makes it so you literally can't look at anything and you can't hear anything. How am I not supposed to be frustrated? Meanwhile, the stuff that you don't want to hear is that you didn't keep your word. 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 And when you didn't keep your word, it fucked me over, not you. If you won't fucking look at evidence, you're not gonna fucking speak up. What the fuck good are you? Why would you offer to help somebody and then waste their time and their fucking money and waste your money in the wrong goddamn direction? See, the shit that I needed help with starts off with you fucking listening instead of fucking peer pressuring me, instead of throwing a bunch of money at something. Or even just a little bit of money. Some of y'all wanted to bitch at me about $50. That's a lot of money to me. It is fucking piddly as far as my expenses go. Fucking sweating like a goddamn pig. And obviously it's 4:41. She ain't fucking coming through. That's the problem. That is a major problem. People are so busy telling me what to do, what to think, and what to feel, and assuming they fucking know everything. Like, holy shit, I'm frustrated because you don't know anything. You won't look, you won't listen. Then, of course, when I try to explain it to you, you say I can explain it to you. Now, you've interrupted me repeatedly at exactly the same part, okay? So, we'll begin there. Why? Because if I don't begin there, and I begin immediately after there, then you're going to tell me, hey, we were at this part. Like, you guys get confused because you ask questions. If you ask questions through the entire movie, you're going to miss the whole movie. If you watch the movie, you don't have to ask questions because you watch the movie. You might have some curiosities, but at least you've got some basis for your question instead of missing a bunch of stuff. When you ask me what help I need, and I say, well, first I need you to listen so you know what's going on. All right, well, we've established that. Then I begin the story. But let's say I just begin with that, right? Let's say that's the part that she gets stuck on. She said, you already said that. So what is it that I would have said after that? How is she going to make the connection? It's best to overlap. Shannon Alvarado, when she was trying to send me a bunch of fucking screenshots, I'm like, overlap them! Overlap them! Alright, there is no fucking reference to anything that you just fucking sent me. You sent me a bunch of random fucking texts. A bunch of screenshots of random texts. What is that in reference to? And I try to explain it, but you're fucking stupid. It's not my fault you're stupid. I'm sick of fucking stupid people. I'm sick of people telling me they'll listen and talking over me. I'm sick of people saying they're not going to make it about them and then making it about them. I'm sick of people telling me that I can work on what I need to. And as soon as I get fucking started, they got something else they want me to do. I'm sick of people not keeping their word. You know why I record conversations? Show I'm telling the truth. Never trust an adult who asks you to keep secrets. Fucking hot in here. Thank goodness the sun come through, but that's the thing about not roll down my windows. So I guess I gotta she was already paranoid about having her stuff there. She didn't tell me this until after I moved my stuff there. But she tells me that her roommate is a thief. But she tells me that'll be safe because he doesn't have the code to the thing. But she tells me this after she's fucking talked over me and talked over me and talked over me and made empty promises that she never intended to keep. How can you advocate for somebody if you have no idea what the fuck is going on? decent person would have just put a bullet in my head. A good person would have spoken up. Oh, fuck. Minnesota, huh? Somebody in front of me got Minnesota plates. Here's the thing. If you don't keep your word, then you're a criminal. If she doesn't keep her word in exactly the same way, you're a bad guy. Now, yeah, I'm actually a really nice guy in person, but you know what? You're allowed to have panic attacks. You're allowed to have fucking... Well, you're a woman. You're allowed everything that a man is not. You're allowed to have panic attacks. You're allowed to cry. You're allowed free shit. Free fucking sympathy because you were born with a fucking cunt. No, you weren't born with a cunt. Some of you are cunts. But a cunt, well, for me, is not a piece of anatomy. Now, why do I use the word derogatorily in the way that many others do? Because I understand the shit that puts you into PTSD. I understand that shit. When you do shit that I tell you it hurts me, and you literally go out of your way to do literally that, man, I gotta tell you, I'm trying to be fucking nice. See, this is the problem with not having a place. You say, why don't you get housing? I can't get housing. That's the problem that this lady's not understanding. That is a fucking legal battle. That is one of many legal battles that I have over Natalie getting her brains blown out. Meanwhile, who blew her brains out? That's right, Joseph Michael Lopez. He's serving 48 years for it. Get out of the way. I'm supposed to just believe you. I'm supposed to just believe you. If you guys want to verify and check everything, that's fine. I'm trying to send it to you. Why aren't you listening? I'm not just going to believe you. You got to prove it. What did Vicky prove? This is for crash. She's not going to understand my anxiety. She's not going to understand my disability. And she's going to use hers as an excuse. She says we have so much in common, and we really don't. As a woman, she's incapable of understanding this. That's not me being sexist. That's me saying that this is really something that if you have a vagina, you don't have to go through. You know, that's something that's really important to try to get people to understand. Like, I know 100% beyond any shadow of a doubt that I'm not going to have a period. I will never have a period. I will never have a baby. So when a woman is telling me about having a baby, I'm not going to say I understand. Oh, sorry about that. But then there's also the trying to put yourself in their shoes thing. And she's telling you about the pain of childbirth. Well, you've been in extreme pain before. You can at least try to make the connection of, hey, it's more than just a little bit of a deal in your head. It's childbirth. You also don't understand that when I explain to you my connection, between my brain and my mouth, depending on how overwhelmed I am. And the first thing you do is overwhelm me by doing the things that I told you overwhelm me, and you promise not to do because they overwhelm me. Oh, sorry, man. I'm not a very good driver. I almost ran into you. Just now, obviously, not in my car. The problem is that, for me, I'm trying to understand other people's disabilities. I'm trying to, how do I say this? Make room. If you tell me that your disabilities prevent you from being able to do something, I'm trying to accommodate. But also, I've had a lot of people who, they claim that they would accommodate me, and then they start dropping all these bombs of disabilities they got. Multiple personality disorder or bipolar disorder isn't too major. I mean, people who are bipolar, that's almost entirely dependent upon the environment. So if somebody is bipolar, but they're in a safe environment, they're not that bipolar. They got medications, but medications don't get you a safe environment. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to make up for crappy medical stuff and crappy housing stuff. And how are we making up for it? Financially. We're ripping off poor people. That's good. How do you like that? No bag. I'm removing them. Now, one thing is, when somebody tells you that they have a disability, and it's a disability that you have, and they say they understand, and then you have panic attacks, and they claim that they have panic attacks and they understand, but are they understanding when you have them? Do they understand, or do they just assume that you don't because they do? It doesn't work that way. If you're going to convince somebody to trust you, and then you don't follow through with your word, yeah, there's more than one word for that, and most of them end in prison sentences. So, I mean, I'm trying not to use it. I'm trying to understand that she did it because of her disability. I'm trying to understand that her PTSD is a major issue. I'm trying to understand that she can't look at anything or listen to anything because of her previous trauma, which has nothing to do with me. I'm expected to understand that, but also I'm getting she's insecure as all hell. So every time I try to tell her something that has been a major inhibition for me, has been a major contributor to me not being able to take care of myself, interrupting me doesn't really make it so that she understands it because I don't get to finish. Then, of course, I'm not allowed to finish because of her trauma. Even though her text messaging me and trying to, literally what she's doing is she's looking for an excuse, digging for an excuse. Once you start playing victim, I'm out. That's it. Once you start playing like I might do something, I'm done with you. I don't have any interest in doing anything harmful to you. I'm interested in getting as far away from you as possible. If you harm me, I want to get as far away from you as possible. So if you pretend that I would harm you, it ain't much different. I have a penis. I am well aware that I can go to prison for the rest of my life over a woman's opinion without ever being allowed a day in court. I go out of my way. Thanks whatsoever. So they get that idea out of their fucking head. You know, the emotion of women, I explain that. Oh, I'm fine with that. And you know, I'm fucking do that. Sorry, I found it. There seems to be something in the brain. I knew this was just women. You got something in the brain. Somebody says, don't do it. You fucking do it. I truly do. But I don't give a fuck about your sanity when it's comparing with my loved ones. You can't come forward about something that'll change the world. And it will. Butterfly effect. A fart in Memphis, Tennessee opens a hole in the equator or some such shit, right? Cause and effect. Talking over me repeatedly after saying that you won't will result in me having a fucking panic attack. And it will only get worse. And that's the problem with trusting people. It's not that they're bad people, they had good intentions, they're just cowards. Now, Vicky Rain, I don't want to fucking post all of her shit up, but I kind of have to. I fucking tried. That's the problem with being stuck in a subservient environment. I can't fucking function. If it was my own place, I could do a lot more. But I'd still need somebody to help me fucking turn this shit in. I can't turn it in alone. This is exactly how you push somebody to commit suicide. You listen to them, you find out what hurts them, and then you do it over and over and over again. You keep just enough of your word on little shit that the big shit you pretend doesn't matter. And everybody wants to play off the big shit. Yeah, here's what I'm supposed to do. Go to friends and family, tell them what happened, and turn it in right away. What am I supposed to do when it's a mandated reporter? I'm supposed to go to a mandated reporter. I'm supposed to tell them what happened. And they're supposed to turn it in right away. They're supposed to send somebody out to do an investigation. Instead, they forced me to run around in circles, going to a bunch of places that don't fucking do that. So, of course, when I have panic attacks, it's over situational issues. I don't have a place where I can work on my stuff. Pretty simple. Everything I got to work on is fucking public. In public, that's right. So most of these calls I got to make from inside of my car, even if it is recorded. I can't necessarily post it up due to the fact that, well, I'm going out to my car because I have to tell private shit. And that may include my phone number. Right now, I severely feel as if I have been heavily fucking scammed. And I'm trying not to give out her phone number. I'm trying not to give out her phone number. The more she goes out of her way to do fucked up shit, the more it makes it so I have to do that. I mean, it's bad enough that I have to go over to the goddamn McDonald's and fucking download off of my goddamn computer and fucking do all of that shit so that hopefully, well, it doesn't matter. I won't be able to fucking download it. I don't have the time. So, of course, she's allowed to be fucking having a panic attack to the point that she can't function, but I'm not. I'm not allowed. I have to function because I got a dick. I have to do these things because I got a dick. That's the thing. She's got a support network. Her son is her support network. Her son would have understood more. Her son would have an understanding in his head of how horrible this shit truly is. Because he has a penis. Simply because he has a penis. A lot of the female victims that told me about all their stuff. It turns out that they're drug addicts. Most of them who got their kids taken away because they were drug addicts. I'm like, holy shit. You know, here I was believing that you were a decent person who was running this site and trying to help people, but literally the people that you are saying, oh, this is a voice for everybody. This is a voice for everybody. And you get on there and you realize it's not a voice for everybody. She wants help with her case. And so she's got a bunch of people on there that all type to her, and some of them are able to bullshit enough about legal jargon that she believes that they're lawyers or some shit like that. Like, and I gotta dig through those recordings now. I could have fucking posted them up if I'd have had a place. When that happened, I had to fucking rent a hotel room so that I could try to do the things that she was asking me to do. Right? So I rented the fucking hotel room. I spent all my fucking money so that I could do what that Candace lady wanted. After doing it, obviously not the Candace lady who I got food for last night and 2 nights before and also the night before that. Obviously, you could hear her on the video, her son. The reason that she wants to push that is because she's a drug addict. Well, she doesn't have to push the thing with her son. I'm not going to make him go hungry. I might have a fucking panic attack about being fucking stuck and my car not starting. Meanwhile, I pressed the fucking answer button, and instead of answering it, it fucking just made it silent. I'm like, fuck, like all I can do is let it ring, you know? And then she's calling me over and over and over again. I'm fucking frustrated. And it's almost like she's sitting across the street waiting for me to go in and set up my computer, and that's when she gets a hold of me. Now, obviously, that's paranoid thinking. But it's not. It's just the fact that it happened to line up that way. It just happened to line up that 2 days in a row when I went in there to McDonald's and sat down at my computer to get started. After setting up everything, that's when she wanted to call. And call a lot. See, that's the thing is that when you're overwhelmed, I'm expected to understand. When I'm overwhelmed, you expect me to power through it. When you're abused, you expect somebody to help you turn it in. When I'm abused, you expect me to move. Lucky for me, there's a lot of people I recorded. Unlucky for me, the most important shit all has my fucking phone number and social security number in it. Yeah. And of course, you got to have a place where you can have some peace and fucking quiet to fucking work on it. If you got to make phone calls, you got to have a place where you can actually make those phone calls, not stuck in public. You have to have the ability to actually record it. With Vicky, I tried to explain to her how it needed to be turned in. Instead, she went her own route. So we went her route. It didn't work out. And no, she's not going to speak up. She thought it was a horrible experience. But, of course, I'm frustrated because we're doing it all Vicky's way. It's not working out the way that she wants it to, and she's getting frustrated, and I'm getting frustrated. Meanwhile, I think it's okay for her to get frustrated because it is a frustrating situation. It's more frustrating for me. But then when she says, oh, well, I can't do this or I can't do that because I'm frustrated, or because I'm depressed, or because I'm sad, or this happened or that happened. And I stop and I listen. But then, when I stopped and listened and, she was talking to me about the cancer thing, and I opened up my mouth and put my 2 cents in. Well, not exactly like that. I opened up and my mouth and said something about I think I was telling her about Meg Missigatis with her, having cancer, and all these other people who have magic cancer. Like, no matter what, when it comes time to tell the truth, when it comes time to follow through, well, magically something's going on. Kid's sick, husband's sick, dog's sick, somebody died. You got cancer is usually the last one on the list. But then years later, these people all have magic cancer still. Or they don't have magic cancer still, but either way, they're still alive. Now, Vicky, she told me about her problems ahead of time. Not all of them. There's a couple of them that were real big surprises, and I'm not saying that those things would have been a fucking deal breaker right on the spot, but they probably would have been. However, I didn't find out those things until I already had my stuff over at her place. And don't get me wrong, she hooked me up with a lot of what I needed. But then, here's the thing, is that I need to be able to have and maintain that in order to get all the things that I need done. And with her not keeping her word, that makes it more complicated on me, especially since I invested all my money and time and efforts into doing what she asked. All right, not literally all of it. $17 of that went to getting Candace and her son and this other gentleman some food. I don't want to post her up as a scammer. I also can't be screwing myself by waiting around for her to not be mental. I don't know how long that's going to take. Meanwhile, I feel crappy for all of the stuff that she actually did try to do through her illnesses. She said that she was going to be limited on time because of some of the stuff that was going on, and some stuff was pending on whether or not it was malignant or benign. That's all important stuff. That's also a lot of stuff about her. Now, when she says, when she was talking about her, and she was talking about the cancer thing, and I put my 2 cents in, well, she stopped me to say, I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to make this about me. You go ahead. And then I started talking, and she did it again. So, I quieted down, and I had some coffee, and then, of course, when I was trying to take breaks because it fucking hurts everywhere. And I take as short of a break as I can, but I mean, I get fatigued. That is the biggest issue. I'm not talking about shortness of breath. You know, I got good stamina as far as that goes for somebody who literally can't run for cardiovascular. But you know, I can't maintain my physical strength, if that makes sense. If I pick up a 20-pound box, then I'll have to, first of all, it's going to hurt like a son of a bitch. And the second time I got to pick it up, I might not be able to. I might only be able to pick up a 15-pound box. If I'm using my legs a whole bunch, they're eventually going to get tired and stop functioning. Like literally stop functioning. All they can do is fucking twitch. I got recordings with so many people. I tell them, hey, I need you to fucking come forward with me and speak up. Oh, they won't listen to me. Megan Misgatis, one of her excuses why nobody was going to listen to her was because she was fat. How do you think she felt when I posted up about that? Now, this lady, Vicky, she said she's about complete transparency. But you know what? It got to the point where I was literally too afraid to speak, and then she wants to pressure me to speak. Fucking, she wants to overwhelm swords. And I know what explanation you're after, and of course it's going to take an hour to explain to you when you've already decided, which is why you've already typed those pointed questions. Her paranoia is far more substantial than I thought it was, so I made that mistake. She's afraid of her stuff going up on the internet. Well, it's going up on the internet because of the things that she did, because she's afraid. Doesn't that suck? A lot, I'm sure. When I was being fucking abused in Colorado, and I needed help stopping it, people just wanted to talk over me like I was retarded until I had a fucking panic attack. Sorry, that's not true. I am always having a panic attack. There is not a single moment of any day that I'm not having a panic attack. But here's the thing. There's generalized anxiety, and then there's panic attacks, and then there's meltdowns. This is a complete and total mental fucking shutdown. And when you are abused to that point, you're not able to function to do shit. And that right there, if you have that going on because police officers have fucking bullied you to that point by repeatedly talking over you, and then you've got some lady who says, oh, she'll listen, but every time that you start talking, she interrupts you. No, that doesn't make her an evil person, but that is the source of my frustration. If I do what you want, then you'll help me how I need. Once I've done what you want, you change the deal. When you change the deal, I'm stuck with the new deal because you've got all my stuff. I'm stuck with the new deal because you have evidence that I need help turning in. Thank goodness I saved the evidence. But again, without a friend or family member who cares, I'm stuck trusting people who have their own mental problems. They expect me to understand their mental problems, but they don't understand mine. They don't understand mine because certain diagnoses that they have don't allow it. If you've got multiple personality disorder, You are probably highly intelligent, but also you are going to have problems with connecting all the dots, depending on which personality you have. Then there's borderline personality disorder. Now that's kind of similar to what is it they try to compare it to? Because a lot of people, when they hear borderline personality disorder, they think you have multiple personality disorders. Like there's 8 people in there. Mandy Singer has borderline personality disorder. I don't agree with that at all. But I'm not a doctor. I read the criteria for borderline personality disorder. No, I think she gets fucking overwhelmed and fucking snaps at people. That's a PTSD trait. It might also be a borderline personality trait. There's also people who tell me that they're schizophrenic and they're absolutely not. I'm like, how did you end up with a diagnosis of schizophrenia? Well, you see, this one time I took some mushrooms and I was freaking out. So I called 911 on myself because I was freaking out. And they took me to the hospital. And I told them I ate some mushrooms. So I got a diagnosis of schizophrenia. By the way, that was a wildland firefighter in Hood River who told me that he was schizophrenic. And I would not concur with that either. I was like, do you have any other symptoms? He's like, well, only that one time. I'm like, and you were tripping on mushrooms? He's like, yeah. And I said, and it hasn't happened since? He's like, no. I'm like, you do realize that what happened to you is a result of taking hallucinogenic mushrooms, right? Like you were freaking out because you were on fucking mushrooms. He said, yeah, I know. I said, you still think you have schizophrenia? He said, well, they diagnosed me with it. Well, could be true then. The problem is that he doesn't fit the criteria. When I first try to tell somebody about my issues, I'm calm about it and I'm collected. As time goes on and I'm interrupted more, I'm less collected. I'm more overwhelmed. And now I have to get a hold of that lady and let her know that I gotta post everything on the internet. See, that's the thing. Help me get it into the quarter, it goes on the internet. When we do stuff that you want, yeah, that's gonna go on the internet if I'm able to. I just, oh, shit. What is that? Did I leave my cane in there? I did not. Where the fuck did I put my cane? Anyway, I don't hate the lady. Not even close. Just like with these other people that screwed me over. If you got mental issues, I'm expected to understand, right? You all expect me to understand everybody else's mental issues. Do you try to understand mine? Do you try to understand that there is a big difference between being autistic and being schizophrenic? Do you try to understand that there is a big difference between having Tourette syndrome and being on drugs? Do you make the effort to understand those things? Do you make the effort to learn those things? If your friend has disabilities that prevent him from doing stuff, learn about those disabilities instead of arguing with him about them or whether or not he has them. I'm diagnosed, dummy. No, I've never been diagnosed with schizophrenia. Yes, I have been diagnosed as bipolar. I've had 3 different doctors say that I'm not bipolar and a licensed mental health professional. I've also got multiple doctors who say that I am not delusional, multiple doctors who say that I'm not schizophrenic, multiple doctors who say that I don't have hallucinations, and also that I don't fit the criteria. Now, being hypervigilant, that is something that brain does understand. That's what she's experiencing right now. Hypervigilance. Trigger warning, just so you know. Some people can't handle being told that they did something wrong. Some people can't handle being told that they made a mistake. Some people, rather than admit they made a mistake, will freak the fuck out, throw tantrums, and blame everybody. I blame absolutely everybody for a reason. When I am out, I'm not blaming the wrong people. When I'm freaking out, I'm putting their names on Facebook and their names on YouTube and their pictures. I better not be a body in that fucking trash bag in the middle of the road. Probably ain't. But it looks about the size of, well, I've known people in Nebraska who put their dead dogs and stuff in trash bags. Fucking throw them out on the side of the road. Like, why would you do that with your dog? One of the city council members in Chapel did that with some kittens. Rory Jeffson was trying to take her to court, but he fucking died. It happens. Anyway, it really hasn't set in yet mentally how fucked I am over this situation. So currently I'm talking nicely. Currently I'm not freaking out as badly as otherwise I would be. She was gonna, then she wasn't, then she was gonna, then she wasn't. Every time that she's gonna, we do the back and forth, until she is finally capable. Now she's running me around 10 million miles a minute. Fucking velociraptors. By the time we finally get around to what it is that I need to do, I'm exhausted from all the other running around. There's also if I'm working on something and she's got a question and I don't answer her question adequately, she's going to re-ask it. So then I lose track of what I'm doing and I'm paying attention to her, but I'm also trying to tell her that I'm working on something, which is, of course, by that time I'm flustered and having communication issues. Fuck it, right? None of these people are bad people. Well, actually, they really are. They're not evil people. We'll put it that way. Or they're not bad people. They just did bad things because they didn't hear too good. All right, that's valid. Good to be rid of you. Thanks for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper and no victim left behind. Got another big secret for you. You are your sister's keeper too. Keep her safe. Yeah.